So today I wanted to talk about training your mental game, and it not just being about adding something new. I think sometimes we get into this trap of we always got to be adding something new into the equation. And I think even me as a practitioner sometimes has fallen into that trap of, when working with a client, especially early on in my career, of always feeling like the next week I needed to add a new skill set or a new technique or a new thing to their toolbox to help them. And when you're developing your mental game, it's not always about adding something new. Sometimes it is about refining and really solidifying something that you already learned or starting to work with, a tool you already have, but you really have to refine it and solidify it to really make it the best that it potentially can be before adding maybe that new skill set to the equation. And that I think is super important, and I think often gets missed. And I think when we add too many things way too fast, the things that you initially were starting to try and develop get lost. They get kind of pushed away, and it takes time. We know this through, obviously research that has been done on habit formation, how long it takes generally to create a habit, and your skill sets and the way you're doing things is a part of that equation. And you need to give yourself time to really develop these skill sets. And so it's not always about just let's add more and more and more and more. It's really how much more can I become better, more refined, more solidified in this skill set that I'm looking to work with. For example, let's just take self-talk, right? Self-talk is such an important component to your trust, to your confidence, to be able to focus on the right thing at the right moment, to not dwell in the past or not get worried about the future. Obviously even trying to minimize the self-talk to try and be present or to make it more neutral. And so that is a skill set that takes a lot of time, and sometimes you have to be more focused on just really refining that and solidifying that before you add whatever else that might need to be added to the equation. And so I think that's a big thing, because this is a journey. This is not something that just is going to get completed over an 8-week period of time. And I think we as humans are always wanting something new, always want to feel like we're progressing forwards. And sometimes if we're just repeating or working on the same thing over and over again, we maybe don't always feel like we're progressing forward. And so that's something really to look at is you could have 20 things in your toolbox, but if these 20 things are okay or average or a little bit shaky, they're not really solid, start to really look at, instead of adding more to your toolbox, really look through and start to go through these and really create more refinement of these skill sets. This is something I do with all of my clients. When they come in, we generally, review. I have them review with me, teach me the skill set that they are looking to get better at, because obviously I start to understand where their understanding is, how well they're implementing things as they start to try and teach it to me. And a lot of the time, they might have heard it 2 or 3 times before, but there's still gaps. There's still things we need to look at. There's still things that they're struggling with their implementation. And so don't be afraid to really go back, really dig in, and really spend a lot of time with certain skill sets before they moving on to the next thing.